On the 150th anniversary of the start of our Civil War, is Libya poised on the verge of descending into its own civil war? Why should you care? Because ongoing unrest in the Middle East is the main cause of your pain at the pump, and mine as well. And that pain continues to grow as gas prices soar. Some forecasts now of $5 a gallon gas right around the corner. $4 a gallon gasoline was a game changer in the summer of 2008 when it got to $4.11 a gallon, the national average for regular. All right, and all of a sudden, the economy, the brakes got slammed on, and it set the stage for the economic meltdown that ensued in the autumn of 2008. We remember. The Budman here on the 50,000-watt front porch. I'm not getting choked up about that. I've got a little bit of Spanish moss on the vocal cords from the weather, I think. But I'll tell you what, you can choke on what's going on out there right now, and we're going to be talking about it vis-a-vis the impact of this ongoing instability in the Middle East, and we're headed there live in less than 10 minutes from now for an update on the situation in Libya and elsewhere. And you want to hear this because, as I say, it is directly tied to what's going on with gas prices that now are on the move again. And as a matter of fact, in the summer of 2008, and I'll tell you about this later on in this hour in further detail, when we got to $4.11 a gallon, the all-time highest national average for a gallon of regular in the history of this country. At this time, in April of 2008, gas cost less than it costs now. So if you're thinking there saying, well, it can't go any higher, but man, my God, the whole thing is, it's gone as far as... No, I don't think so. And there are legitimate forecasts of $5 a gallon gasoline, at least in parts of this country, by Memorial Day or certainly by the 4th of July. And later in this hour, Donald Trump sounds off with us here. Guess who he's blaming for the sky-high gas prices? Very, very interesting cuts. Trump on Obama just a bit farther downstream here on BHL. A lot of oil and gas talk, but of course it all begins with the situation in the Middle East. The Budman here with Jeff and Mike in the control room. Jenna's still out enjoying a little bit of R&R, and we're looking forward to her return later in the week. But guys, you've been doing a terrific job. By the way, on the Bud page of 540WFLA.com, I have posted the Orlando gas prices, the best place to go to get the best deals and the places to avoid the worst ripoffs, okay? And the gas prices are all there for you, and they are updated. You can do as well as the low 360s around here, or you can pay through the nose at $4.50 a gallon. By the way, I'm on the way back from the beach last Friday. Lynn and I had a great day at the beach at New Smyrna Beach. So we're coming back, and I had let the car get on down to empty. Now, I didn't take the Acura out to the beach. I took my little runabout Sebring convertible, okay, because I don't care if I get sand in that thing. But the Fountain Acura RL is never seeing that side of the beach, obviously. But at any rate, I'm coming back, and I'm on 44, and I'm about to get on I-4, and there is, through a fence, and you have to go around a circuitous route to get there, a BP station. I've never gone there before, but I was so low, and the light was on, and the thing was dinging, and Lynn was getting really nervous. You know how the gals get when the gas gets low. So I went over there, and I pulled in. The place was crowded with people buying gas. It said $4.19 a gallon for regular, and when I got to the pump, it actually said $4.29. And there was a guy with a truck that it must have cost him $150 to fill that thing up. I have no idea why these people were filling up there. They obviously were filling up. I was so ticked off and so offended, all right? I decided to play a little bit of free market capitalism. I bought two gallons worth, just enough to get home, and I got out of there. They are not getting $4.29 a gallon out of the Budman's hide. And that's what you need to do with these bleeders. These people who are way off the scale. Don't buy there. I have no idea. Maybe these people were like, all Donald Trump high rollers or something. But I couldn't believe it. I bought 2 gallons of gas, enough to get home, and then I filled up. You know, it was still bad, but it was, what are we going to say, 360 something a gallon, okay? And I felt like I had struck a blow against these people. It's unbelievable. Really ticked me off that they had the price posted, and then at the pump, it was a dime higher than that. But that's what's going on out there. It's not all tied to the Middle East, but a lot of it is. The rest of it is tied to, flat out, the emerging economies of China particularly, and India to a lesser extent, who are competing for oil. They're not riding around in bicycles like they were 15 years ago. They're riding around in cars, and they need oil too. And there's barely enough supply to meet the demand worldwide, and so the upward pressure on prices continue. But focusing back on the instability in the Middle East, that's exactly where we are as we continue on BHL on the Tuesday edition. We're going live to Fox News reporter Courtney Keeley, one of the best in the business in the Middle East, as we continue. 6:12 on the nose, checking real-time traffic and weather together now on the twos. As I was saying, my fabulous top-of-the-line Fountain Acura RL sedan will never see the beach, but I proudly put it on display everywhere, and it's a real head-turner. Jet black and beautiful, looks like it's going 1,000 miles an hour sitting still in the parking lot. Pure luxury, great engineering, command of the road unlike anything I've ever experienced. And right now at Fountain Acura, the RL sedan and their amazing top-of-the-line SUV, the MDX, at Fountain, financing rates as low as 0.9% for you. Well-qualified buyers like you. And if you're driving an Acura now, you know how great it is, and you just want to update your current Acura model to a brand new 2011 Acura model at Fountain, you can do it with no money down and a similar monthly payment. What an opportunity. Don't miss it. Fountain Acura, the one and only, South OBT, just south of the Florida Mall. Online, fountainacura.com. Paying too much on your homeowners? I want you to check out Florida Insurance Specialists, their incredible technology, and their website, challengemyrate.com, where one of my Sanford listeners saved almost $500 a year on homeowners by getting switched in minutes from prepared insurance to the Hartford by Florida Insurance Specialists. How much can you save? Only you can find out. Go now to challengemyrate.com, challengemyrate.com, or call my friends at Florida Insurance Specialists for more today, 407-805-0200. With a lot of the pain at the pump tied directly to what's going on in the Middle East, let's get the latest from that part of the country from a woman who knows more about it than anybody I can connect to, and that is Courtney Keeley of Fox News reporting live from Jerusalem. Courtney, welcome back to Bud Hedinger Live here in Orlando. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
And good afternoon in your case. What's the situation with this ceasefire that seems on again and off again with Gaddafi in Libya and the Arab Union and what they're trying to get done there? What can you tell us?
Well, okay, I can basically tell you that it was the African Union.
Forgive me.
He's pretty much, but the difference is, which is confusing because the Arab League asked the no-fly zone to come in. The African Union, he pretty much helped found, and he pretty much contributes most of the donor money to them. So they came in, arranged a deal that Gaddafi kind of designed himself.
And so the rebels are casting a wary eye at that little bit of
right,
negotiation.
And rebels just said absolutely no deal.
Right.
You know, these benefactors of Gaddafi basically come in and say, oh, okay, why don't we have a ceasefire, some humanitarian aid? And there was nothing on the agenda or in the deal that had anything about Gaddafi and his cronies and his sons leaving.
So at this particular point, what do you think? Was that just a bunch of smoke, a con job, and nothing's going to come of this, and the conflict is going to continue?
I think you said it exactly.
Let's talk about the rest of the Middle East. Well, first of all, in Libya, any sign that that a stalemate is being broken, that the advantage is trending toward Gaddafi or toward the rebels? What do you see from that part of the world?
I see a complete stalemate. You see the rebel fighters have a complete dependence on airstrikes. But what I did see yesterday, just by the mere fact of these African Union leaders arriving in Benghazi and being escorted into this hall with a huge rebel flag up on the wall, that there is more organization and more leadership of this sort of de facto capital and de facto government that we've seen before, which is a good sign.
Saudi Arabia is the country that could do the most damage to us if all of a sudden we lost access to the oil tap over there, and we've been talking about it. Instability continues in Saudi Arabia, although they seem to have it shut down reasonably well, it appears to me. But now I'm seeing that the Saudi embassy in Iran has been attacked. What's going on vis-a-vis Saudi Arabia?
Well, the Saudis and the Iranians definitely hate each other, both regimes, Iranian regime being a Shiite regime and the Saudi being a kingdom of monarchs, which is more of a Sunni, a very conservative strain of Sunnism called Wahhabism. And we have a $60 billion arms deal with Saudi Arabia. Our defense secretary just visited last week to smooth over relations during this Arab spring of unrest and revolution.
All right.
Because one reason we asked Hosni Mubarak to step down, and they were not happy about that. They don't want to see regime change, and they have their own agenda, but we have to play along and be nice because we need their oil.
Boy, I'll tell you, tenuous times, and thanks for the update from the Middle East. Reporting in Jerusalem for Fox News, Courtney Keeley. We'll check with you again as things continue to unfold.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. At 6:22, real-time traffic and weather together now on the twos. And we're looking at some sunshine, but there's a front headed our way that's likely to trigger some showers and thunderstorms from midday through the afternoon. The threat would be greatest. Not looking like it's going to be a widespread major weather event, but watch for the prospects of a few storms along the way. The high will be 87. It is 68 here in Orlando. There's also instability, of course, in Syria, which is a really repressive and dictatorial regime. And it's hard to know how any of these countries are ultimately going to go. It's not a monolith. They are all different, with different politics, different situations, relative strengths and weaknesses of the repressive regimes that they have, and relative strengths and weaknesses of those who are protesting life under these repressive regimes. In Syria, a demonstration by hundreds of Syrian university students turned violent yesterday. Security forces there raided the gathering. They killed a student, and the 3-week uprising is reportedly gathering strength in Syria. Of course, that is right on Israel's doorstep, where Courtney Keeley is reporting here. And Israel's been taking incoming rocket fire, and they've put up their iron shield against it. And Israel, of course, is in the most precarious situation. They're also better equipped to deal with it than any other country in the Middle East. The wild card here is Barack Obama is clearly not nearly as pro-Israel as every other president of the United States has been since the inception of the state of Israel. And as far as the situation goes in Libya, again, it is the ongoing instability here. It's not the Libyan oil. Most of that goes to Europe, which is one reason why France and the Brits got so involved in this thing early and took the lead when President Obama was dithering around. But it still represents 2% of the world's oil. And it's interesting. I was doing a lot of reading on this. You would say, well, it's 2% of the world's oil, and we get hardly any of the oil from Libya. I'm not even sure we get any more now. But right now, the amount of oil used every day and the amount of oil pulled out of the ground every day worldwide is almost exactly the same number. So when you take 2% of the oil off the table, you know, with the supplies out of Libya just gone in the middle of this conflict here, that makes the difference. That tilts the supply and demand, even though it's just 2%, and it's worldwide, and it doesn't directly impact us because we don't get our oil from Libya. The way these oil markets work is that all of a sudden puts supply and demand out of kilter. And when it does that, it applies upward pressure. When there's a shortage, the price of what remains goes up. That's how markets work. We see it here in whatever it is that you're buying every single day. And then, of course, you've just got the uncertainty, and people don't know what's going to happen. You've got the possibility, which would be catastrophic for this country and, frankly, for most of the free world and for the shaky economic worldwide recovery. If Saudi Arabia were to blow sky high, and who knows what's going to happen? If I sat back here on the 10th of January and told you what was going to happen in Egypt starting on, I don't know, what is it, the 18th of January, you never would have believed me. I mean, I can't sit here and say Saudi Arabia is going to blow sky high, but believe me, based on past history with Egypt and Tunisia and whatever, and the situation that's erupted in Libya and continues, who knows what's going to happen there. But Saudi Arabia has 1/5 of the world's oil. If you were to take their oil off the market, like Libya's 2% is off the market, you're talking 20%, not 2%. You've got a worldwide catastrophe. And all of a sudden, $3.75 at the pump is going to look like the buy of a lifetime. That's why I'm trying to keep you connected to what's going on in the Middle East and why you need to care what's happening in the Middle East, because it directly impacts the pain at the pump that we're feeling in excruciating fashion right now. And it is impacting the price of everything that relies on transportation. All that food's got to be trucked to the supermarket. All of the things you buy at the department store have to be trucked in. The diesel fuel, it all goes back to oil. You know, everything that has to fly or be flown, or people who have to fly, jet fuel, they make it out of oil, gang. And that's why what's going on in the Middle East is so critically important. Coming up, we have a news update from Michelle Murillo. Stay with me here on BHL. It's all part of the package. All the news, all the information, all the traffic, all the weather, and my take and your calls on the hottest topics in talk radio for 3 hours every morning. Nobody else is doing that in this town, and it's great to have you along for the ride with us. Right after the news, the Wall Street Journal report, and Donald Trump blasting Obama on the oil prices. Coming up. So how you doing with the old waistline there? Are you letting the belt out a notch every big weekend at your party, Hardy? I mean, you know, I know what it's like, and it's easy to get it's hard to get a handle on the weight. It's easy to lose control of it. But I'll tell you what, if you want to lose the weight you need to lose for your health, your life, and your appearance, I don't think you can do any better than what I did when I became the incredible shrinking bud man and lost weight on the Metafast program, 75 pounds in 6 months. It was remarkable. It was so easy. It's so healthy. Everything tasted absolutely terrific, and I had such help from my Metafast counselor at my Metafast Center. That's the way it works. This is all doctor-developed and approved by 20,000 physicians, including mine, in the last 30 years. At your local Metafast Center, with help from your Metafast counselor, you can lose up to 2 to 5 pounds a week. Up to 2 to 5 pounds a week. Want you to get started right now. Give him a call on the Budman's Best. Connect today. If I can do this, you can do this. Your Metafast Center, 1-888-9-METAFAST, 1-888-9-MEDI-FAST, 1-888-9-MEDI-FAST. You call them today. Convenience centers now in Lake Marion, Winter Park. More online, metafastflorida.com.
Morning, Mike.
Republicans are demanding serious spending reforms before agreeing to allow more government borrowing, a movement that the White House rejects.
A 16-year-old brought behind bars after police say he sexually battered a former girlfriend. The girl told police the attack happened as she was walking to her bus stop yesterday on Conway. 16-year-old Isaiah Kane was arrested and charged with sexual battery with a deadly weapon as he had a knife, and also battery with strangulation. The girl told police she'd broken up with him last month. A Central Florida radio show host has issued a challenge to the governor. If he wants to keep his Let's Get to Work slogan, he needs to create some jobs. Jason Bailey, the host of the Buckethead Show on our sister station, Real Radio 104.1, explained how he can do it. Whichever group got more people put back to work will be declared the winner. If Scott wins the challenge, they'll give him his slogan back. Ultimately, Bailey says if Scott takes him up on the challenge, the real winners are Floridians who can find themselves getting jobs. Dwight Howard returned from a one-game suspension to lead the Magic to a 95-85 win over the Philadelphia 76ers. Howard scored 19 and grabbed 13 rebounds. 540 WFLA News Time, 6:32. I'm Michelle Murillo. Get these stories and more at 540WFLA.com. Coming up, more BHL.
From the David Moss Volkswagen Lee Road Traffic Center, I-4 is remaining in good shape so far this morning. It's a standard 16 to 18-minute trip between the Turnpike and 436. The 408 is in good shape as well. No accidents or delays to slow your travels. You are checking clear in both directions of the Greenway. Florida Highway Patrol is also letting us know the Turnpike is accident-free this morning. If you do happen to see a problem on the roadways, call our tip line at 866-676-TIPS. From the Traffic Center, I'm Courtney Bright.
Traffic on Air Online, a service of Serrano Beach Resort and Conference Center. Hey, Orlando residents, enjoy a slice of paradise about 2 hours away and with zero hassles. Serrano Beach Resort on St. Pete Beach has sugary beaches, Hollywood perfect sunsets, and more. Visit Serrano.com for details. Serrano, imagine it's all here.
From 540 WFLA, Orlando's 24-hour weather channel. It's very nice out there right now, but later on today we've got a strong cold front moving in. That could trigger severe thunderstorms later today with some gusty wind, heavy rain, and a lot of lightning. Clearing on Wednesday. Weather updated around the clock on 540 WFLA. I'm David Maddox at the Weather Channel.
It's the Bud Man.
Zealously working to make up for the omissions of the past
On 540 WFLA.
And time now for the Wall Street Journal Report. Every day right after the 6:30 news, the editor of the Wall Street Journal Radio Network joins the Budman here on 540 WFLA. Mike Salvatorelli, good morning. Hey, I want to get folks to back off the gas and relax just a little bit right now if they are worried about interest rates going through the roof overnight. Apparently, if it's going to happen, it's not going to happen right away, huh? Very interesting. Now, here in Florida, we continue to have a major problem in the housing market, and we have a lot of company around the country, but the situation with all of these foreclosures is depressing the value of folks' houses, and I mean, it's just a complete nightmare here. And there's also been all kinds of contentious back and forth with homeowners accusing the banks of foreclosing on them just to get them through the pipeline, when really that shouldn't happen. What can you tell us in that front?
Well, it seems like the hopes are fading for a far-reaching settlement between regulators and banks over the improper home foreclosures. Now, some regulators are pressing ahead to reach around deals with banks that others involved in talks deem to be weak. The dispute is pitting the federal regulators and state attorneys general who are seeking stiff penalties and comprehensive changes in the way banks foreclose on homeowners and modify loans.
Well, that's interesting, and we'll, of course, have the Wall Street Journal watching that very, very closely for us. Best newspaper in America, and the online edition at WSJ.com. Finally, on the Wall Street Journal report this morning, I was talking earlier about how the prices of so many things are soaring, and you have a very interesting report in the Journal that raises one particular case in point a lot of us will be familiar with.
Yes, the soaring price of cotton is making it harder for a lot of apparel makers to keep their
Yo, I don't think I want any flax that close to me. That doesn't sound comfortable. I'm a cotton guy, Mike. Oh, my. I was going to say boxers or briefs. No, cotton or flax. But I'll let you have the best line of the morning, and I'll forward all the emails to you, pal. Mike Salvatorelli will have the Wall Street Journal report tomorrow morning, and I'm looking forward to it, okay? Take care. Coming up on 6:39 here on BHL. Did he really say that? Did he really say that on my show? What is this, like 104.1 now, Jeff? What's going on out there? I'm losing control of my own show.
Comedy Hour on BHL.
As if I ever had control. We feel out of control, do we not? At the pump right now with the price of gas and an average nationally, I think, of $3.73, maybe a little bit less here in Florida. Full listing on the Bud page on the blog right now of Orlando gas prices, the lowest and the highest, so you can be a smart shopper. I talked about the situation in the Middle East, but you know what? There's a lot of blame to go around here, and Donald Trump, who is getting a lot of traction in the Republican field of presidential, I don't know, potential contenders, wannabes, whatever they happen to be, because the guy's plain spoken. He's not afraid of the president, and he never, ever bends to political correctness. There's no question in Barack Obama's mind that, or in Donald Trump's mind. I want you to listen to this. Got a couple of cuts here from Trump. Listen to this, and I want to talk about it with you. No question in Trump's mind that President Obama bears responsibility for the soaring gasoline prices. He says he's getting manhandled by the likes of China and OPEC.
China is absolutely ripping off our country. China's taking our jobs, taking our money, loaning it back to us. The OPEC nations are having a field day. As you see, and I watch every day on your show, the oil is going up to a level that maybe is going to be unprecedented within the next couple of months, and gasoline is going to go $6, $7, $8 a gallon. And it's going to be a rough day in the United States. And one thing I will say, if oil does continue to go up, this country can never, ever recover, because that's really the lifeblood of the country. And I very much blame Obama for that. He's in bed with these people. He doesn't speak the way you have to speak to them. And it's going to be a very sad day for the United States if oil goes up any further.
And Trump went on to say, and this was an interview with CNBC, okay, that our dependence on foreign oil is flat out killing this country.
OPEC is setting the price of oil, and they're having a field day. They don't respect Obama, they don't respect our leadership, and they don't respect our country. And if oil goes more than $50 to $60 a barrel, and frankly, it really should be $40 a barrel and no higher, this country can never really make a comeback. It can never be great economically again. It's being sapped out of us.
And that's Donald Trump. He also went on to say in the interview that 15 minutes after we leave Iraq, Iran's going to take it over, and Obama's going to let him do it. And that if Trump were president, he would go after the oil. What he's saying essentially is he'd launch World War III over the oil in Iraq if Iran moved on it. Donald Trump, he's making news. He's not officially in the race. But that's the latest. Now, you tell me, is that a fair charge that part of the pain in the pump that you and I are feeling right now is laid at the feet of this president, as Donald Trump said? Is that fair to Barack Obama? 407-916-5400. By the way, I've been crunching the numbers. I've got something you need to hear about how much more you are paying now for gasoline on a weekly, monthly, and annual basis, okay, than you were just a year ago. Wait until you hear this. Coming up, 6:42 on BHL now. By the way, coming up later in the show, I've got a fantastic idea for what one of those shuttles ought to be used for, okay? Stay with me on that. You're going to love it. Now, I don't want to steer you wrong. I never steer you wrong here. I've got a very select group of advertisers, and I am fully confident you will have the great experience that I promise you when you avail yourself of their product or services. And so it is that I want to recommend you have your next lunch or dinner out at my favorite restaurant. It is Houlihan's. 4 locations here in the Orlando area. An Orlando tradition, unlike any other. Houlihan's, a big, diverse menu, every price, every taste you can imagine. And they've got a whole long list now of menu items for $3 or less. So it's just incredible. And you can get filet mignon as well. I mean, it's just incredible at Houlihan's. And they make everything from scratch. That's almost unique in the restaurant business. Check it out. You'll see it. You'll love it as we do. Houlihan's, 4 locations, 192 in Kissimmee, University Boulevard near UCF, East Colonial and I Drive. The one and only Houlihan's. Online, Houlihan's.com.
Years ago, they spent big money on lobbyists, so you never would know. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and here it is. If you serve on a jury, you will never know if the at-fault driver or negligent business owner or doctor who made a mistake has insurance. It's called the non-joinder statute, and it's unfair because insurance companies hope that jurors may be less likely to return a significant verdict if they think there's no insurance. In almost every case we file suit on, and that's thousands, the at-fault party has insurance, but you never know it. Well, now you know the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Morgan & Morgan, for the people. Offices Orlando. Just 60 days. That's all it takes to start transforming your business. Thanks to Constant Contact. Their simple step-by-step checklist will help you transform your small business with email marketing and social
Hey, please give me special attention right now if you or your folks are planning for retirement. It gets complicated. Tax, Social Security, estate planning, investment issues, to name just a few, can be overwhelming. And you want to make sure you don't wind up just spending down one asset after another. You need to put the whole thing together and make sure everything is working for you and for your long-term retirement advantage, so you have the kind of retirement you deserve and always dreamed you would have. That's why I want you to get on the phone to Nelson Investment Planning Services, Jack Nelson and Joel Garris, and schedule a free 2-hour consultation all about how to get income from your money in retirement. They've got some great ideas. They'll get to know you and your financial situation. They're wonderful folks to get to know personally. I've known them for years. They're men of unparalleled integrity and well over 50 years between them of experience in all matters of investment and finance, including how to get income from your money in retirement. It's a free consultation. Please call them and tell them the Budman suggested you do, will you please? I'd appreciate it. Here is your number. Book it now. 407-629-6477. It's free. 407-629-NIPS. Donald Trump says Barack Obama is to blame for the sky-high gas prices we have here. Fair charge or not? I want to hear from you. I think a part of it, absolutely yes. I think OPEC knows they can run roughshod over him. So does everybody else in that part of the world. But it's not all his fault. Also, the gas prices now should be at just the point where they are beginning to change your behavior, your driving habits, and your buying patterns. Is it happening to you? If so, I want to hear your story. 407-916-5400. It's 10-7 now. Here's Gary in Longwood. Good morning, Gary.
Hi, good morning, Bud. How you doing this morning?
Absolutely terrific. Good Tuesday morning to you, my friend.
Same to you. Bud, I agree with Donald Trump, and I would just emphasize that the government, Obama's the government, with all the oil restrictions, drilling restrictions and moratoriums and stuff, they're totally comfortable with the price of gas. And I don't even want to put a figure on what they would be comfortable with.
Why are they comfortable with it? Because I can make a case on the other side that he will never be reelected if we have $5 a gallon gasoline in the fall of 2012.
Well, I believe that the tax money that they raise is exactly what they want. I believe that this is their way of collecting taxes from the poor man. And if the poor, relatively speaking, poor people would wake up to the fact that they're paying heavy-duty taxes into the government. And
you're talking about the gas tax?
Yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, I've got a survey that shows that Americans are starting to drive less, so they may not be making more money on that.
Yeah, well, when the price of gas is triple what it should be, they can drive a lot less and still pay a lot more. I believe what Trump is saying, and
all right.
And all the reasons are beyond my ability to grasp hold. But I just see the tax revenue as being a major source.
Good talking with you, Gary. Now you tell me, is Obama to blame for the gas prices? I mean, there's a lot of it's out of his control in the Middle East, but some of it is within his control. In this whole situation, with not going full bore after oil in this country, that is laid at his feet. And we're going to talk more about it. I've got a new poll you need to hear. Floridians more and more want drill, baby drill to come back, and it's dead, not only in Washington, but it's dead in the Florida legislature. It's all to come. Your phone calls in a minute. And is the price of gas changing your life? If so, how? 407-916-5400, or isn't it high enough yet? 652, real-time traffic and weather together on the twos. All right, Courtney, thanks. We have some sunshine this morning, then a chance of afternoon showers and storms with a high of 87. It is 68 degrees here in Orlando. Good morning, Chris. In Winter Springs, you're on Bud Hedinger Live. Thanks for the call.
Hey, Bud, thanks for having me on. Love your show.
Thanks.
Appreciate you. And, hey, I just wanted to say a couple things. You've hit a lot. One thing I haven't heard, obviously, yes, we need to drill. Obviously, I even agree with the last guy. Taxes are too high. But here's the main thing. It's not Libya, although the press jumped on that because they're trying to find an excuse for Obama. But Obama not only promised that he would raise our energy prices before, tripling and quadrupling them before he became president, but he's doing it. And here's how. With quantitative easing and quantitative easing 2, or QE2 as we call it, which we're still in until June, that is the main reason why oil prices are going up, because oil is denominated in the dollar, and we are printing dollars like nobody's business, and so that's why the price of oil and food is going through the roof.
It's no question that that's a significant factor, Chris. Thank you very much. Keith, listening to the Bud Man from Orlando on the 50,000-watt front porch. Go ahead, Keith.
Hey, Bud. Good to talk to you.
You too, buddy.
Hey, listen, one thing people are missing also are these fund managers. They're just killing us with the future prices, and they're the ones that are speculating that the oil prices are going up, and they're driving the cost of oil up higher.
Well, but, you know, the fact of the matter is they couldn't get away with it if there were not some legitimate major factors that everybody can see, and that whole situation in the Middle East is certainly that, and the possibility of Saudi Arabia's oil supply becoming unavailable. I mean, you understand why there's upward pressure here.
Right, but the upward pressure, though, is just, you know, speculative. It's not, it hasn't happened. It's not there yet, and you know, they're driving on the...
All right. Thank you, Keith, very much. I've got to tell you, though, the fact of the matter is it's a very tight oil supply now. The world's using almost exactly the same amount of oil that they're able to get out of the ground. You know, when you take Libya out of the mix, it begins to make a difference. When you got the prospect of something blowing sky high like Saudi Arabia with a fifth of the world's oil, you do create instability in the markets and upward pressure. It's the way it's always worked. It's not all Barack Obama's fault, but his policies, particularly domestically, are absolutely legitimate causes for him to be blamed. Now, let me do something for you. National price of gasoline averaging for a gallon of regular $3.77 right now. 1 year ago today, it was $2.86, so it's up $1.11 a gallon. What's the ramification of that for you? Well, if you're an average driver with a car that gets 20 miles per gallon, and you're an average driver, which means you do 15,000 miles a year according to the charts, that's 300 miles a week. Are you with me? 300 miles a week, 20 miles per gallon. You need 15 gallons of gas to get there, okay? Last year, the 15 gallons would have cost you about $43. Now, 15 gallons costs you about $57, about $14 more per week, about $55 more per month, more than $650 extra dollars a year that you cannot spend on anything else. Now, if you're one of those that Barack Obama was mocking in a speech about a week ago when he was talking about his lame energy plan, who's driving a great big truck that gets 8 miles to a gallon, maybe you ought to go trade it in. Remember that comment? Let's say you drive a lot and you've got a big rig you're driving that maybe gets 10 miles to a gallon, and you have to do not 300 miles a week to get your life in order and get things done and get to your work or whatever. It's 600 miles a week. You're 30,000 miles a year. There are a lot of you out there in that boat, and if you're getting only 10 miles to a gallon, now you begin to see what happens with sky-high gas prices. You're getting absolutely clobbered. You now have to use 60 gallons of gas a week. A year ago at $2.86 a gallon, that was $171 a week. Now at $3.77, it's $226. Wow. You're up, what is it, $55 a week. And for a month, you've gone from $686 to $904. And for a year ago, it cost you $8,236 to drive. Now it costs you $10,957. It is costing you more than $2,700 extra this year just because of the current differential in gas prices from a year ago until today. Wow. multiplied across the economy with all of the drivers, think about the impact of that at the lower or the higher consumption levels. And all of the people by the millions who have a little bit less extra money in their pocket. Fewer restaurant shots, fewer trips to the store, spreading things out. And all of a sudden, you begin to slam the brakes on the economy the way we saw in the summer of 2008. That was the beginning of it. Gas at $4.11 a gallon. Stay with me here.